After 9 weeks of break, we're finally back. Welcome to another Monday live stream. How's it going, everybody? It's been a while. It's been a long time, and I'm gonna tell you guys all about it in a moment. First, let me tell you what's on the menu today. We're gonna do a firmware upgrade to WING Firmware 3.1.1. We're gonna go through the list of what's happening with that, and I'm gonna teach you, or I'm gonna try to teach you a quick overview, and this is kind of a test that I'm doing right now. I want to teach you guys what's going on and what I've been doing lately with the Wing that has been a game changer to me. I know I may be late to the party with this one, but you know, sometimes you get to live, learn, being faced with obstacles that you need to go over, and you figure out that you had the tool in your bag to do it for a while. First, let me say hi to everybody. Make sure that you are heard in the chat. I just want to make sure that we have the chat going here. As always, the chat is the most important thing of this live stream. You guys are the reason why we are here, is because you guys are live with me. And let me start by saying, hey Grayson, how's it going? Everybody, make sure to say hi. Make sure to say hi like Robert from France, who's been hanging out, I'm gonna guess, at a house of another fellow companion that we probably know. How's Patrick doing? Hope you guys have a great time together, seriously. Always a pleasure to hear from you guys. Hello from Ontario, California. Ontario, the province next to me. Hello from Montreal. Hey, Jimmy from Madison, Wisconsin, right? WI's Wisconsin. I'm Canadian, so not sure about this one. Hello from Owen. It's good to have people from all over the world. When you think about it, it's crazy. It's crazy. Imagine a few years ago, it was not even possible to do a phone call. Like, we're not talking back that far. It was not possible to do a phone call to another continent. Now we are live worldwide with almost no delay. Hello from Windsor, Ontario, homeland of the one and only Glenn Fricker. I don't know if Glenn is a friend of yours or not, but if it is, we'll say hi. I really like his show. Hello from Denmark. Hi, Denmark. Hello, Cleveland. Patrick is in the car driving right now. All right, so you guys are watching the show. Thank you very much for being back after that many weeks of break. Yep, all right. Greetings from Ghana. I'm sorry, I don't know where. I'm not sure where that is. Yes, it's been a minute. It's been a minute since we did a stream. Actually, let me tell you guys. I was busy. I was busy mostly at the venue that I'm working. You guys probably gonna assume that you guys seen my latest vlog where I unpack a LA112, QSC LA112. A lot of people were really not happy about the fact that I just took a bunch of box to a venue, unloaded from my car, and set it up and make it work. Hello, Germany. Please, one from Clang One. One live from Clang One. Not sure I understand that. Hello from Ghana. Okay. What's up, guys? A lot of people from there today. Great. Great to see you all here. But okay, the reason why I was not there for the Monday live stream is because I was busy mostly doing corporate event. I'm doing corporate event for a living. I'm kicking off more and more my audiovisual provider branch, because I've been doing that for years, but only at a smaller scale. Now, like you saw in my latest vlog, I was talking about I purchased a PA. I'm planning to build some, you know, some kind of inventory to do more stuff. Clang software, okay, I know what that is. To do stuff on the Clang, I would need to visit some of my friends that have digital console with Clang. I don't think, maybe you guys can correct me, but I don't think that Clang system is available on the Wing. If it is, well, let me know. I probably want to try it. So yeah, I'm building that. Basically, I'm building a shop, answering demand from clients, answering the just basically picking up the phone, because people are calling in. I'm getting a lot of email every day. People ask me to do event. I have around 200 event a year right now, and I'm not pushing and I'm not doing any kind of advertising. I'm almost too low on staff to do them all. I need people to join my team. I'm teaming up with some friends now, but I'm probably gonna try to get another few member around the shop. Not the channel. The channel's going to be run separately by me most of the time, but when I'm doing vlog, at some point you will probably see more people getting involved with me. Maybe my friend Patrick, maybe some other people, but I'm growing to a point that I actually, looking back, I was going there without knowing. Owning a shop right now, I don't own a truck yet. That's going to be the next big step. For now, I'm just spending all my money on gear. I'm purchasing cables. You guys know how expensive cables are getting nowadays. An XLR is almost $1 a foot. U-ground is more than $1 a foot. Just a freaking plug to put on a cable is a few dollar, and when you think about it, this is not something that you can make your money back on. Meaning, when I'm renting a speaker, you are renting a speaker, but everything that you need to connect the speaker, it's kind of included in the deal. Like if you rent me a PA, you don't expect me to, well, actually you expect me to show up with XLRs and show up with U-grounds. So yeah, I'm purchasing a lot of cable. Do you make your own cables? It depends. Sometimes buying a really good deal used is a better option with cable. I can make my own cable. I've been making my own RJ45 for years now. There is no way that's ever going to change, because that's not worth purchasing new, especially for the Wing stuff. For AS50 is really picky, so you need to know exactly what you're buying. But yeah, this is something that I'm working on right now. I'm purchasing stuff. That I'm purchasing is anything that has that is short. A short XLR is not really worth doing. A short RJ45 is definitely not worth doing. But for the longer stuff, the 250 foot or the 80 meters, almost 80 meter. I think 250 is closer to 75 meter than 80. Anyway, the 260 feet, if you want 80 meter cable for the Wing, that's way better for me to do it than just like purchasing it. It's so expensive to buy, especially if you go in the cat stuff from like Dave Rat. Those cable, to me, I can probably build for myself, and you guys can probably look that up. You can probably build 4 or 5 cable for the price of 1. Something that I'm interested in doing with cable now is looking at the new Nutrix stuff, where you can remove the RJ45 Ethercon connector. Not the RJ45, the Ethercon connector. You can remove it. I don't know how well that's going to play with the shielded stuff, but definitely something that I'm interested in looking at. I'm probably going to purchase some and just redo one of my cable just for the fun of doing it with these new connector. Nutric just released those. I don't know if you guys ever seen that, but go check them out. Nutric, I don't remember the name exactly, but it's basically they are made to be used in Ethercon and non-Ethercon environment or standard RG45 environment. So a great way to have a cable, having it protected and having it not being dismantled every time that you need to connect it to a non-Ethercon environment. Let me get back to some of the questions that were asked a little earlier. From Grayson, I'm surprised there's a new Wing firmware update and there's a new version of Wing Edit I discovered to the Behringer website. Too bad Behringer's removed the download page. No, actually it's up right now. I just downloaded the new version right now. The support link now got replaced by the Yuli chatbot. Okay, I don't know about the support page. Honestly, I'm lucky enough that if I need support with that stuff, I probably know the answer to most of that stuff. But if I ever need support with something, I can ask people. There's a lot of people, especially on forums, especially on Facebook. So you guys know who the usual suspects are. Peter has been really, really active on social media. A lot of people in the chat here are really active on social media. On social platform to answer questions and to debug stuff and to report that to the dev. So Facebook's a great option if you have any problem with that. The website is how can I say, probably not what they were expecting when they changed that up, especially on the Wing side. There's a lot of complaint and a lot of bug, but as of today, I just download the firmware for the compact and for the full size. Always have that on my USB key, so if I need to update a console, I have that, and I was able to do it today. 3.1.1, no problem. Got that down, so no problem. Thankfully, I'm able to find from Behringer where I can download the firmware and we get it. Yeah, it's working. It's working. A couple more questions, and we're gonna move on. Congrats on the PA next level. Thank you very much. Spend money, yeah, spending a lot of money. But I'm gonna make it happen. I'm gonna make it happen. Try going wireless. Actually, I'm surprised that Dante is not wireless yet. It's not working over Dante. But yeah, I'm gonna make that happen. Hello for me, good. Rob and I are playing you in stereo. Oh, guys, okay, just turn the volume down. It's so annoying because it's never really tight when you have two people watching the same video. It's always like flamming and everything. That would drive me nuts. Just turn. You can. I'm okay with one less viewer. Or actually, you guys probably want to chat. So, hey guys, have a good time. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Guys, if you have any question, everybody else in the chat, if you have any question, make sure to let them know. Them French commercial, 30 seconds. Hold on. Them French commercial, 30 seconds delay. It's better to stick to wired for Dante because clocking is very sensitive. Yes, I do agree with that. But one thing that I wish we could do is having a router and having a way to send a signal, let's say from my computer, wirelessly to a router. If I want to have my laptop moving around and just play back ambient music, it should be an option to have, like, I don't care about the clock for this one, just like buffer something and make it happen. I found some workaround for that. Instead of using my laptop for music now, I've shown this before, but let's dive into this. In my library, I do have a file, a WAV file of an hour of just background music that I have in the console. Do you always work alone? Not always, but most of the time. What I mean is I'm never alone, but sometimes I'm the only tech guy, especially in corporate event. When you work in a venue like I am, everything is pretty much pre-installed and almost ready to rock. Meaning, at my venue, classic, boring day at work. I show up, the TF1 is on a case that is rolling out of the storage that is literally like 3 meters away from where I'm going to use it. I'm taking the console, bring it over, 1 RJ45 in for Dante, 1 power. That's pretty much it for sound, because everything in that venue is Dante. I'm firing up my laptop or an iPad to set up the lights. I have presets already that I'm recalling with custom control or user-defined key on the TF1. So I just update that with the color of the client. You know, I'm changing the color in the room. I'm setting up the FOH. If I have a lot of people, I'm going to put my fuel echoes all full on. If I only have some, a podium in the center of the stage, I'm probably going to dim down the side. So lights, usually 1 or 2 setup. And after that, I'm going to connect a HDMI extender to connect a laptop to do a PowerPoint. And that's mostly what I do on a daily basis at that venue. Do I really need to be like, in a typical venue for a rock band, you would have a head sound, head light, and a head video guy. So you have at least 3 people plus somebody on stage, maybe a monitor guy. But in those situations where I have a couple wireless, maybe a podium, 1 or 2 presets of lights, that again, I just trigger on the sound console with companion and some user-defined keys, and clicking a PowerPoint. And most of the time I'm just plugging in the clicker. The client already set up his PowerPoint. All the videos are embedded in the PowerPoint. We just go click next. I usually do those gigs by myself. When I have a bigger setup, like I show in my latest vlog where I set up the PA, I'm gonna come in an hour early. I'm budgeting an extra hour to like take my stuff that is most of the time in-house, bringing that upstairs, setting everything up, taking the PA is literally 15 minutes. If I I don't want to say rush, but if I just do it, I can do it in 15 minutes. Go 1 sub 1 top, or 1 sub 2 top. It's literally 30 seconds. Linking that up from the console. It's a matter of a few minutes. So yes, I do that alone as a tech. There's always other people. There's always somebody who's in charge of the venue. I'm in charge of the tech stuff, but there's somebody else who's in charge of the client. So I'm never alone, but I'm the only tech most of the time in those rooms. And 99.9% of the time when I set up an event by myself alone, I'm fine. There is some times where we are a few, like a couple guys, working together at the venue when I have video streaming, because I do offer video streamings per client. Same setup that I just described, which is going to add a, I'm pulling out my ATEM Mini Extreme G2 with a couple camera. Well, actually the camera that I have here, this one right there, and this one here from the top. I'm using these 2 camera. Bring those to the venue, set that on a tripod or on a stand hidden somewhere with the correct lens, set that up. It's an extra 45 minutes, but just switching at the same time as doing the sound and lights is a little tricky. So I usually split the job. I'm doing lights and sound, and I have somebody coming in for video. He's going to switch to A10. He's going to make sure that the power point is at the right slide. Most of the time, again, it's just a clicker going next, next, next. But yeah, yeah, this is my bread and butter. This is the kind of event that I do most of the time when I'm not out with Ben. When I'm out with Ben, it's a different ball game. I'm usually nowadays doing a lot of monitor. God, I love doing in-ear monitors. It's so fun. I just did a couple show doing front of house. Doing monitor is so fun. If you guys ever need a monitor guy for a tour anywhere, I'm gonna start to say it out loud. If you guys ever need a in-ear guy or a floor monitor guy on a tour, call me. Call me. I want to do that. I love doing that. I'm not doing enough bands on tour, but I like to build show file and I like to build in-ear mixes. And now that I learned a couple things on the Wing, I'm using more and more, I don't want to say automation or macros, but I'm using way more of the show control stuff to do manipulation that I'm doing on a regular basis. Actually, let's talk about that. Recently, I built a show in the Wing where when I'm say a show, it's not on this console, but I built a show. Or actually, you know what? Let me pull that one up. Alex show. I'm building a show with a few snippet change. Man, I love doing that. I'm just recalling a couple stuff. Any action that I'm doing on a regular basis that is going to be happening every show, going somewhere and going back, or triggering an event, or changing the reverb time, or changing, I can build scene, I can build snippet, recall that, and having a snippet that bring me back to normal. I'm doing that now for guitar solos. I'm changing a lot of things at the same time. Like in one of the band that I built recently, a show, I have 3 guitar. Lead singer is playing acoustic or electric on few songs. I have 2 guitar player, and depending on who's doing a solo, the lead singer is never doing solos. But depending if it's one guitar or the other doing the solo, I have basically the guitar coming in, the lead guitar or the singer rhythm guitar taking its place on the other side, and having that bump by like 3 to 6 dB depending on the player, because I know their setup and I know how, when they boost, how much I need to pull that up. And I'm doing it like in some weird spot. Recently I've been, if I'm doing just front of house for a band, I will do it with a trim. But if I'm doing front of house and in-ear, I'm going to offset the main by 3 dB to do a boost. So that way, wherever I have my fader on the console, it's not going to be affected by the snippet recall. And it's just been crazy how much I've dived into that stuff. I'm starting to use way more and more show control on the Wing, and I love it. I know I'm a little late to the game. I know it's been there for years, but I was never in a situation where it was making sense for me to do it. And I think just doing it, just making a complex scene on the Wing for no reason is not a good idea. So I try to keep it to the minimum of the minimum. But nowadays, when I'm touring and I'm having the same show every time and I'm doing the same manipulation every time, now I'm just doing a snippet and I'm changing that up and bring it back. I'm doing a snippet that's gonna change to wherever I want, and I'm creating while bringing back everything to wherever I want. And I just love it. I just love working with snippet. Again, I know I'm late to the game, but you know. Patrick here says, cannot do Dante on wireless. It requires 1 gig minimum speed, so wireless is kind of limited at this time. As far as I know, there is no 10 gigabit internet, but there is 1 gigabyte or 1 gigabit internet, which is almost the same thing as 100 megabyte, if I'm correct. And Dante would support that on a lower amount of channel streams. If I'm right, I could be wrong. It would be fun. It would be fun to have the option to just, wirelessly transmit to something, or transmit to delay using a wireless connection. Stuff that is not crucially important for a show. Let's say that you have actually I was there on a festival site the other day, and they just had the same ambient music being broadcast to everywhere, and they had to run physical Dante line to everything. Could they have used a access point with a wireless system to just broadcast ambient music to everywhere on the site? Delay doesn't really matter in those options. It could be a little off by a few sample. It would not matter. It's just ambient music. I wish we could have that option instead of using because they were using Dante, and on place where they cannot run wired, it was using FM Decade. It's basically an portable 1U FM radio transmitter. So you take a mix, send that into a Decade, you have an antenna, send that out to wherever. It's good for like half a mile, 1 point something kilometers, and wherever you have a FM receiver, you can just go to 88.1 or 88.3 FM and you will receive that signal. I wish we could do the same thing with Dante. So, I don't know if it's possible, but I think this should be an option. Wireless has too much jitter to give you stable clock. Maybe it's not working, and I understand everything that you say there. I cannot explain how it could be done, but I'm just saying it will be a cool way to do it. If we're nowadays allow everybody to use their phone Bluetooth, can we have like some kind of buffer? Maybe it could be a Dante plugin that will take everything buffer for like 1 second or 5 seconds and just output that. Wi-Fi 8 will possibly give you a stable IOP due to the specification change, but time will tell. Okay, actually, let me see what's going on here. I don't have the last message in full here. Hold on, I'll get back to another one. As soon as you guys need to write me a couple lines so my chat can fully pop up. I did set that wrong, and I cannot read the bottom of the prompter. Okay, you guys are in sync. Nice. I thought you were two individual. I didn't know you were in the band In Sync. Here it's July, but for you maybe it's got to be May. The TF1 is old compared to the Wing. Yeah, definitely. But I have to use daily or weekly a TF1 because that's what the venue purchased. A few years ago, that's what was in their budget with a Dante card. This is the only thing that they had. Or actually, this is what they had on the quote. And it just, people doing quotes for venue are salesmen, not tech. They found something that was within the budget that will check all the box, and none of these guys will ever use those consoles. So TF1, actually not like there's worse option out there. It's not a bad console by any means because I've done some band on it and it's just fine as long as you're okay with a gate, a compressor, and a 4-band EQ, which I am. I can do a band with that. I'm good enough as a sound engineer to do that, and I'm lucky enough to work with bands that don't need a lot of processing. What I mean is, from the stage, people have good tone. Good drum tone, good bass tone, good guitar tone. Most of the people now use the Quad Cortex for bass and guitar. And if you have a drummer that is okay at tuning a kit, you don't need to EQ that much. You don't need to gate that much. So, can you get away? If you have a really good sounding band and you have really good mic placement, you can just, you know, raise fader and doing low cut, and you're pretty much there. If they deal with their own dynamics, you don't need to compress that much. You know, it's don't overthink things sometimes. But yes, the TF1, until it catch on fire or it just not turning on one day, that's going to be the console that's going to be in the venue. And when it die, I'm probably going to push to have a Wing, but the whole system there, everything is Yamaha. So when the TF1 is going to die, it's probably going to be replaced by a DM3 Dante version, because it's just working. Doing monitor is the best. I agree. Oh yeah, it's so low pressure to do monitor. And every front of guys, if every front of house guy now is not agreeing with me. But if you are a good monitor guy, once you're parked, you do your sound check. It's gonna take 15 minutes. Most of the time, the only input that you're really gonna need are gonna be kick, snare, bass, guitar, and vocal. You don't need most of the drum if you are on wedge, and most of the time on the wedge you will only really use your vocal. So you deal with one or two input. You just need to make that loud and in your face, not feedbacking, and people on stage are happy. Where I'm gonna say it, okay, I had a unfortunate experience with the new EAW column system in the festival. I'm not gonna say which one, but if you're from the area, you probably know. And the PA was so bad to work with. I don't know what was happening there. I know. Okay, let me say I don't blame Eastern for that one. I'm gonna say there's probably something wrong with the config, or the firmware is not up to date on that thing. It's the new column array from EAW. I had 2 per side, and it was not balanced that well. Meaning, it was so bright. It was so bright and unpleasant to listen to. You know, sometimes we like to have our system to be defined. It was just freaking bright to the point where, okay, let me show you guys. Can I do this? I'm not going to do exactly, I'm not going to recall exactly what I had, but I basically did something like this on the main. I basically did that kind of EQ on the main out to make sure that it was not too bright. I remember cutting like 6 dB in that area, and another somewhere around 160, a little smaller bell. But I did this to the PA, and still the S's were out of control. I had to use de-esser on my lead vocal, which I usually don't. Not with those singer. So what that tells you is there's probably too much IN or not enough mid in that PA. And I don't believe that the PA itself is tuned that bad. So it's probably a preset somewhere that did not register correctly. There is probably either a firmware or a preset that did not match, because on those systems you can actually design the kit, and in the back of the PA you can tell how much you want to project, and it should adjust for that, and you tell the kit how high it is, and it's auto going to adjust. Basically like the LA112 is auto adjusting for the angle and compensate the EQ for the mid-range summation and low-end summation in the angle. It's just correcting the box. But yeah, this is roughly something like that I was doing to the PA. It looks like a VRX EQ. Actually, it was brighter than a VRX. Just to make that clear. Can you imagine? Like, I thought that the VRX was bright. That's another level. Like, it was actually, the VRX is, it's brighter in the 2, 4, and 8K. Where this one was like 6, 12, and 2K. That was really, really bright. That was really, really popping out of this. So the kit can have some definition. Can I just get like a shit ton of low mid back so that I can mix some electric guitar, please? You know, it's yeah. Let's just say the newer Eastern column array was, actually, I'm not even gonna count that. I'm gonna say I need to try it again. Did you test did you test with pre-recorded music? Yes, I did, and it was freaking bright. And some of my friends were there because it was on a 2-week festival. Some of my friends were there prior to me, and actually we spoke after, but they had a hard time too. It was bad with music, but not that bad. When you start to introduce possible feedback and possible room back in that kit, it was going out of control. It was leaking on stage so much, and funny enough, I was getting feedback in the 400 region with a lead with SM58, which I usually don't on those Singer, and for some reason I was not getting any low mid information at the front. It's like if I was on stage, the PA was there, I was getting some artifact or bounce back from the higher frequency on stage a little bit, but a lot of low mid. But as soon as you move away from the kit, there were no low mid left. So again, I'm not going to blame the system tech. I'm not going to blame the PA. I'm just going to say something was not right, and I did not have a pleasant experience that day with that setup in those particular circumstances. So I'm going to say I need to try that PA again, because with music it sounded okay-ish, like way too bright, but okay-ish. But as soon as I fire up a band with interactive environment and that thing, not cutting it. Like, no fun. No fun. If we do our best in monitors, FOH is better. Yes. Actually, if a band is really good on stage, and if they have a really good monitoring situation, and they can perform well, they can understand where they are performing within the band, you're going to get better sound in front of us. And monitor is so much more relaxed, yes. Let's go back to Grayson here. Case in point, I have a Dante AVIO Bluetooth adapter, and it show up as a 100 megabyte adapter in the Dante controller. So no real, I don't know how to speak anymore. No reliability issue so far. Thank you. Dante can run 100 megabytes. But it's under 32 channel. Yeah, maybe something like a 2 to 4 channel. Let's say that I can do 4 channel over Wi-Fi with you know, with a specific app or a specific something, but can I just get like a access point link to a bunch of speaker far away, not being in delay, you know, like they should have a warning so it's not going to be in delay, but I can broadcast over there. I can broadcast over big sites. I know some of my friends probably want to broadcast over a river somewhere. So instead of running cable through the river, could you just have like 2 access points talking to each other and make that a thing? I don't know. I have a corpse still using an LS9. Oh man. What a great door stopper that was. Actually, yes, LS9. Actually, I like the LS9. For the few times that I did monitor on those console, the only reason that I like those is because I had 32 channel in front of me. I could tap on the mix like I'm doing with that section on the wing. I could tap on the mix and have 32 channel in front of me. Once I was set up, once I was dialed in, I could do monitor like, okay, what you want, okay, that, what you want, that. And I was almost not even looking where I was pushing, and I knew my drum were there, my bass and guitar, and my vocal. Like, okay, you. It's really quick with the send on fader mode to just go like, okay, mix 1, mix 2, mix 3. But when you start to do stereo mixes and in-ear, in-ears doesn't sound good. The summing, I don't know if it's a problem. Well, I think it's the problem with the summing of those console. And the more you throw at it, the shittier it gets. Sorry, but yeah, it's 20 years old technology. I'd be curious nowadays, just for fun, to compare like an O1V, original O1V versus a Wing, or even something like a Digico. How bad? We send you a picture to share? Okay, I'll take a look at that. Sorry, those guys are sending me stuff on the Facebook. All right, okay, you guys ready? Can you see this? Can you? Is it gonna focus? Hold on. Is it gonna focus? There you go. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Really appreciate that. Thank you. On a lot of new PAs, my mini EQ looks like that. Modern PAs have so much more highs than older one, and if the system engineer doesn't take care of that, it's on the front of us. It's on that front of us engineer. I'm gonna say yes, but some systems are balanced. Some systems are easily tweakable for that. I do tend to cut a lot of things that I didn't back in the day. One of the first PA that I had really a good time with, and I'm gonna bring you guys back a couple years, is the JBL, the Vertec 15-inch, two 15-inch and 2 or 3 horns. I don't remember. I believe it's 2 or 3. Those kits were having a lot of ion information, like pleasant ion information, but never being too bright. It was not high spicking, especially with the latest update. It was not, high spicking in your ear, bright. You could get some really good electric guitar going in those PA, and it was sounding really, really good. The Vertec stuff has a really rock and roll tone to it, where some stuff like the LA112 that I purchased, I have one, I own one. I'm gonna hate a tiny bit on your VRX. Okay. But it's not the VTX, it's the VRX, right? We're talking about the same thing. The VRX non-adjustable stack, because it's not a line array, it's just a bunch of bucks stacked together. The newer kit are a little brighter. Nothing that you can't EQ out with 1 or 2 notch, especially the 112. I found, like, I'm turning down a little bit of 4K, and I'm usually fine. It's usually well balanced, especially playing around with the crossover point, and especially playing around with the software. I can make that kit right. But, you know, for some reason nowadays, the low-mid summation on those kit is different. Let me bring... Okay, I'm going to do a quick store here. Let me bring up a file. I'm just going to bring that up, make that. I'm just going to save my snaps, save my live stream. Yeah, I just want to load something before I bring something up. Okay. Let me bring by date one of the show that I was talking. Actually, is it the good one? No, it's not. Let me bring up that file, and this is the one that I was talking where I had the new Eastern kit. Let's take a look at the real EQ that I had on the main. Did I reset it? Okay, this is what I had to do. I did 2 show. I could load you the other one, but I did 2 show. This is what I had to do on the PA to make it tolerable. And I was modulating around -6. Important information here. I was sending out my main around -6 with just a tiny bit of compression, like barely moving the needle here, just to make it loud enough. And I was doing 30 meters away from the kit, I was at 92 dB. And after that, if I was pushing more, I felt, you know, the room around the mic getting to the point where it was like building up. So I had low mid summation in that area. It was happening in the 300 to 400 ish. And just to give you an idea, this is the kind of show that is really lead vocal over the mix. Look at my lead vocal. And I had a hard time with low mid on my lead vocal because it was feeding back. This is what I had to do. We're talking about 12 dB of cut at 450. Low cut, pretty much everything. Another cut at 1.5. Another cut at 2K. Because otherwise it was too bright. On top of that, I had that EQ. And it was still, like, badly aggressive. I'm doing, you know, this band is doing mostly acoustic, upright bass, bossa nova stuff. It cannot be aggressive. It has to be, worst case scenario, it has to be round, a tiny bit, with vocal on top. And I was reaching the limit where it was unpleasant in the higher frequency. And I could not, well, I could keep notching on that stuff, but I mean, it's going to be dead. More than that, everything was sounding, you know, I was creating some phasing issue and it was dead. So, and sub-wise, nothing crazy. 52 in the kick, like, tame to whatever it was. Everything else is, yeah, the floor tom I had to go, like, I was getting a lot of room back in the floor tom for some reason. But upright bass, I was able to push it just a tiny bit. Electric guitar, usually don't EQ, but I had to do this. Accordion was feeding back from everywhere because it was in front of the stage. You know, again, let me guess, 477. I had a hard time with that. Anyway, all that to say, and let me reload my file. All that to say that I don't understand why I have to EQ so much nowadays when I had a really good PA like a Vertec a few years ago. I was fine. I was doing fine. So that's my experience with the EAW. I wanted to do the firmware update before going there, but I guess we're gonna go a little longer today. I love to hate the VRX, but I know them, so yeah. Once you understand that you can remove the few, basically the switch in the back of the VRX, there's 3 high-end driver, and you can disable those, you know, by notch of 3 dB. So basically you can disable the horns. You can just keep the one in the middle and removing the 2 on the side. That's what the switch in the back are doing. So once you disabled all the switch, you can have a line array. You're gonna have still too much of 4K in it, but you can EQ that out. You don't need to, you know, turn down 4K and file a 31 band EQ to get it lower a little bit. You can make that happen. But yeah, once you know, it's like everything. Is it good out of the box? If no, you can learn to work with it and get away with it. That's what everybody's doing with the Vertec. It's a really bright kit, and I think the reason is if you put that PA next to anything else, and somebody who doesn't understand that it's gonna sound louder because it's freaking bright, people will think that the VRX is louder. And I think this is how they want, you know, some of the DJ, some of consumer that want a really small, loud PA. But yeah, not my favorite approach to make a kit loud. Move some air, give me some 12 inches driver, and tune them well so they sound balanced. Everything sounds balanced, and I'm gonna be a happy camper. Maybe I'm gonna need to cut a little 4K like I'm doing on probably most L-Acoustic stuff. And speaking of, we're in the dot here is talking about the Kara. I made a rental company. The rental we got, or Kara 2, for my Sound Vision file for the July event, and the preset they had is most iron and ever. Okay, funny. Had to reset, and boom, minimal tweaking needed. Yeah, the K2, from my experience, last time that I mixed in the K2, I didn't EQ it and I changed my show file because L-Acoustic is something that I can trust. In doubt, I cannot really doubt the L-Acoustic stuff. Usually they know their stuff. If you have a good system tech to go along with them, especially I want to remember his name, but I don't. The great guy from Solotech Montreal, or is it Solotech Quebec? Anyway, I don't remember his name. I'm so sorry. He's a great dude. A little chubby dude, PA tech from Solotech. If you guys ever met the guy, you will know right away. French guy like me. He's the best at tuning that PA. And once I realized that, and once people confirm around me that he's the best, I changed my mix to place my stuff around that, and just sounded great. Just sounded great. Michael, hey, I'm a little late. How are you? What's the new Wing Firmware 3.1? We're going to move to that in a few seconds. I'm just going to answer some more question. here and comment, and we're going to move on to the new firmware. Too late for 3.5.0. Don't tell anyone, Rob. Nobody should know what's the secrets of 3.5.0. Glad to see someone that used SSL bus on the main. Also love the 33609 clone. I'm never trying that on the main. Maybe I should. Plastic speaker have that 300 to 400 feedback in them. Have you worked with the TurboSound version of the VRX? What do you think? Oh, actually, should I go there? Yes, I had the displeasure. Sorry, TurboSound, this is not your greatest product. Actually, TurboSound didn't make a VRX. They made a copy of a VRX. It's not the same thing. Hold on. What's the other comment? Is it better? you know the answer to that. No, it's not. I wanted to try it in a couple of different setup. I didn't have the chance. I wish I could try it with an X32 with the preset from Ultranet. I hope it's going to sound better, but I never had the pleasure or displeasure to work with that setup. All I'm going to say is there's probably a reason why we don't have any of that in the Wing. There's no reason that they could not introduce Stage Connect to do this, especially if you guys have a hub like I have right now. It could be a great way to have your main out being sent to a bunch of speaker and front fill and using the Stage Connect stuff for that. I can see that happening. I can see that happening at some point, but Ultranet is, I don't want to say dead, but I'm going to say a thing from the past with mixed result. Some people like it, some people didn't like it at all. But yeah, the TurboSound, the turbo-ish VRX, not happily surprised. I had to tweak it a lot. Not as much as, and I've talked about that before, on last Canada Day, 2025, I met my first copy of a VRX. It was a fake VRX. It was a box named VX932, if I remember correctly. It doesn't say JBL on it, but the owner of that kit put some JBL sticker on it just to make it pass like it was a VRX. It doesn't sound, it sounds even worse, if you ask me. It's a copy design with apparently JBL component, but it's not the right component. It's not the right cone. It's not the right driver. Maybe the box inside doesn't have the same division for air movement, because it's going to affect a lot of the overall result, the cubic or the cubic feet, centimeter, meter, cubic amount of air that you're going to have inside the box is going to react a lot with the speaker, and that's one way to tweak out your speaker. Nexos are really good at that. They have a really affordable component, but they tweak the box around that component to make it sound right, and we have good result with Nexo. Again, not my favorite. Still an L-Acoustic guy. It's just out of my budget to purchase one right now. But yeah, Nexo is an okay. But if you give me a Nexo system, I'm gonna be fine. Actually, funny enough, I had an experience this on June 24 with the national Quebec holiday, the National Quebec Day on June 24. I promise I'm gonna make sense out of that sentence. I had the pleasure to play around with the Lion. I was a house tech welcoming two of my friends. One of them show up with his Wing, one of them show up with a PM3 Rivage. Rivage sounded great. The system sounded great. Me and the PA Tech were there the day before. You know, great condition gig. Me and the PA Tech were there. We set up the kit. We listened to stuff. We placed a power alley to make it right, or as much as we can do. We made the kit as punchy as we could. The sub were amazing. It's the new 1200 sub from Meyer. Sounded amazing. The Lion is amazing. I would never purchase one because it's really expensive. Like, imagine having 48 tops of Lion at like $5,000 to $7,000 a box. It's a big investment. But yeah, I'm gonna say, money aside, it sounded good. Do I prefer it to the L-Acoustic stuff? Not in all situation, but yeah, the Meyer stuff is a great, another great option out there if you guys want to have real PA. Again, I'm gonna repeat myself. I'm gonna say the L-Acoustic, not the L-Acoustic. Yeah, the L-Acoustic stuff is probably my reference, probably the one that I like the most. Next to that, you have all the usual suspect. You have Meyer, D&B, and if we go in smaller line array, more affordable stuff, the LA112 is a really good... The LA112 is a really good purchase because you get a lot of speaker, a lot of volume, good sounding volume for a price range that is good for a line array. A lot of you criticize on my latest vlog that my choice of speaker was not optimal for the room. And if I were to only have two per side, I should get a point source system. It would be better. Which I agreed at some point. I would definitely take one of the subs that I have with a K12, K12.2 from QSC. Way more affordable. Not the same SPL, not the same reach, not the same design, but sounded really good. And I just did that setup 2 days ago. Sounded really good with the K12 too. But if we're talking line array, if we're talking about a system that can be rigged $4 to $6 bucks per side to cover, let's say, an area of up to, I would go 2,500, depending on the type of band, let's say, or dB limitation, you can cover a big area with the 112. I mean, it's going to be a great budget option. Kind of like it's the golden stuff or the great stuff that is not too expensive, kind of like the Wing is. Of course, if you give me no budget limitation, I would get a I would get a Digico 338 any day with crazy amount of wave server, but I prefer to buy a house than buying that. Or I would prefer to buy a truck. Just for the price of the console, I can basically build a full setup of line array console, moving light, and almost the stage. Almost purchasing a stage line for the same amount of the 338. So, I don't know. Priorities. I prefer to have a LA112 with a SL100 stage line than having a 338 by itself with no IO box and no cabling, because, you know, it's fibers, another extra money to that. But yeah, so that's enough for the VRX clone. Why are people cloning the VRX? It's so many fake L-Acoustics are around the States now. Some of the power amp even even work in LE network, but don't show serial number. Ooh, that's bad. That's bad. I don't agree with that. I said that many times previously, where it's okay to do a copy of something as long as you don't try to fake it for the real thing. I don't have anything here, but I have fake Shure SM58 that I scratched the label because I got those in, a deal. Food's gonna be ready in 20, Rob. Okay, thank you very much. I'll have a plate. Just let me grab a plane. I'm about a 7-hour flight away from you guys, so it's probably gonna be cold when I get to your place. But merci Patrick, merci pour l'offre, mais je vais devoir décliner. But yeah, all that to say about the fake stuff. Create something that is almost the same thing, but put your brand name on it. Don't try to make it sound, or to make it look like it's the real thing. Say it's a copy. It's a copy. It has exactly like the TurboSound. The TurboSound physically look exactly like the VRX 932, but it says TurboSound on it, and I'm totally okay with that. When you have stuff that is fake microphone, fake guitar, apparently some people even had fake DL32 out there that says Midas on it, and that's where I'm no. I'm gonna answer that quickly. Bro, where can I get the firmware 3.1.1? My mixer is on blackout. It's near a year now. Guys, I need help. Okay, well, the firmware is available from the Behringer website. You can just go download it. You need to extract it and put the WING file on a USB stick, like I have right there. I put the correct file. You need to have the compact version for the compact, the full size, and the rack. You need to have the rack firmware. They're not interchangeable. It's not like on the X32. Go on the Behringer website. At the top, you will have the WING, the compact, and the rack. Select whatever you have. Click that and go down the firmware. Go down at the bottom, you have an option for firmware. Click that, and you'll be able to download 3.1.1. I just downloaded that today, so the website is working, and you can get a copy of the firmware right now. You need to have the right one. If your console is in blackout, you probably need to connect that over USB, like USB-B in the back of the console to a computer, and load the firmware from there. It's not, if you don't have the UI like I do right there, you won't be able to come here into setup and do update. So you probably need to do that with a computer to access the drive. Basically, it's going to be the same thing as if you go into setup here and you do a direct access. If the console failed to load the firmware, it's gonna load by default the OS access drive, and it should give you the drive direct. You can just drag and drop the right firmware on it, not the zip file, not the PDF, the .wing firmware or wing FW, I believe. You need to have that in the drive. Make sure that it's loading correctly. Shut the console off, bring it back on, and you should be able to boot it into 3.1.1. Enough with the question here. Let me read the few that I have in the back that I cannot see from my prompter view. Hold on. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna change. I hope I don't screw the image up for you guys. I'm gonna load up prompter in a different view, and I'm only gonna see the question in the bottom. Is it okay? Is it blocking the image for you guys? No, it doesn't. Okay, so now I can see the bottom of the screen. I have several fake mic. Hold on, no, not this one. I have several fake mic that I got in the church dealing stuff. Yes, as long as you scratch the label on those and you don't try to resell those as genuine SM58, you're good. I have a fake SM58 with switch, and they are really good for what I'm going to use them for. Talkback mic with a switch on it. They work. They sound like garbage. They sound like dollar store mic, but they have switch on those, and for a talkback, I don't care if I sound like that in a talkback. I can EQ it out and just, you know, I'm not performing with that thing. It's probably not going to handle the SPL, but for a talkback, more than okay. I want the PSA and 1176 combo in the next update, but the new firmware work. Great last show. Great from James. Do you think the 96 Neo will be the Midas way of being their version of the Wing, or do you think they will make something similar to the Wing, or even make one at all? Somebody, and I'm going to be careful with my word here. Somebody asked me what I was thinking about a Ming console. Somebody that I'm going to be vague here. Somebody that may or may not have input on something asked me what my opinion would be. And I said, it's a really bad idea. I think the HD96 Neon should be the way to go. Because the Wing is its own thing. If you introduce that firmware with 96K capability, you're not going to sell any Neon. My opinion. If you just make a better hardware version of the Wing under the Midas brand, sure, I'll probably buy one. But don't make this firmware go 96K. It will kill everything. The amount of quality of life feature that we have on the Wing is already too good, if you ask me. Seriously. So, what do I think? I think the Neon is going to be my next purchase. I'm going to need to play around with it a little bit. I'm waiting for the Neon to be available as a demo for me here in North America. I want to go do a show with one and build a file and see if I upgrade my Wing to a Neon on some tour. Maybe not. But I'm thinking about a Neon, and I wish they would have made it like this size, like 21-inch screen with this, just to compete with the Digico 112, just to compete with the other option. Is there a D-Live in that kind of? Is it the Solo that is available in a rack mount-ish format like the Wing or the M32R? I wish Midas could do something like that for the Neon. If they can have a Neon in a package like this, I would buy two, for sure. It's the perfect size. This is the perfect size of a mixing console. Maybe have a bigger screen. Maybe have a bunch of knob at the top. Or, you know, I just want fader here to be flat. And you can put me a bunch of knob in front of the screen. You know, I'm going to try to throw it out there like I did for this design when years ago somebody asked me what I would do for a compact version or and I kind of went out with this idea, not exactly this thing, but I said, give me fader, give me a bunch of knob, and give me a screen, and I will be good to go. Yeah, I'd buy 3 if it was the case, yeah. The Neon might be your next console. Yeah, me too. I'll be honest and say I've done a bunch of festival this summer with really high-end console. I've come across a bunch of 338. I come across a bunch of the Rivage stuff, the PM3 Rivage, the IRM model, and I'm not gonna say it's the 96K because I don't think I do hear a difference between 96K or 48, but I'm gonna say those high-end processing that go along with these console. Maybe it's 96K, maybe now I finally hear 96K, but the way that they react is a little bit different from what I can get from the Wing. Maybe my show file are too processed. Maybe I'm not having the right approach. I want to rethink that. I cannot wait to do some new bands that I can redo a file from and start from scratch, maybe doing less processing, because lately I think I've been too far out with processing, especially on lead vocal and snare. I'm just killing those with process. Sounds good into in-ear, but in a big PA, I saw a band called Deadly Apple. The guy had an SQ5. The band is really heavily processed, but from the stage and from tracks. And the guys had an SQ5, and it sounded open. It sounded like really, really wide. And the only thing he had is a few EQ here and there. Not a lot of processing. So I'm going to sidetrack back to having a Wing with a DL251 or 231 doing some light processing, you know, go closer to what I used to do in the analog day of not having 5 compressor in a row on a vocal or a snare, or a transient designer into a compressor into a distressor type of deal. I'm going to turn it down on the process and see if I can get that result. If not, I'm going to try to ask for maybe an HD Air demo. And I'm going to try to do the same band with the same, you know, approach. And if I do hear a difference, well, I'm going to be sold then. Probably ought to buy some Neon. Whatever they're doing, the Neon is probably my next purchase too. Like, I'm probably, actually, the way that things are going to go for my business is I'm probably going to buy a few more LA112 speakers. And after that, when I have the justification, I'm going to buy 2 HD96 Neon. That's what I feel is going to happen. What kind of analog console did you use? I was lucky enough to play around with Midas console. I worked a few times on a HD, not an an Heritage 3000. Heritage 3000 a few times, and I remember one time, the first time that I really understood what mixing was all about. I was doing jazz band in a 8 tops of VRX 15 per side on a festival situation with a H3000, Heritage 3000, and I had a rack loaded with BSS compressors, DBX for some stuff, 4 processing unit, SPX, not the SPX, the PCM90 from Lexicon, a few SPX90. That's the first time as a kid I remember walking from my bass drum to my vocal, having one compressor on the vocal, you know, turning around in the rack, tweaking my stuff, go listen, and doing jazz band. I didn't need to do a lot of compression. And the H3000 sound just so good. Just doing a low cut on a vocal, like, that's it. And this is it. I'm gonna go back to where I was before and say, this is why I don't understand why I need to process an SM58 so much nowadays, where back in the day, I took a 58, plug it into input 32 of a H3000, cranking the gain low cut, and it was not boomy, it was not bright. Nowadays, I end up a lot having to cut I'm just going to grab a channel here, and I'm going to do a typical 57 EQ, 58 EQ, look at 120, sometimes 160. Probably going to have to turn in that region maybe 9 dB around 300, and at 2K, maybe 2K, 2.5, I'm going to have to turn 3 to 6 dB. You know, sometimes 3 is not enough. I have to go 6. Why do I have to do this, and even something like this, to make an SM58 sound good in the system? Back in the day, when I had a Vertec PA, I was just going flat. No EQ. No low mid summation. I was just doing this, and it was sounding great and open. I don't understand why. I just don't understand why. I think it has to do with headroom. Interesting. I've been doing I've been doing less processing lately. Works really well. It's mostly tuning the mains. Well, then not as much as needed. But it's easy to go ham on the wing. And it's basically like having a wave server. Yeah, maybe it's all my fault. Maybe I'm just realizing now that I've been processing too much, and I could be at fault. I'm open to admit that I can over-process things and being wrong. Maybe I'm doing too much, and that's the trap with the wing. A lot of people don't understand that. The wing is a powerful tool that allow you to enable a lot of stuff quickly, and that's probably where things are not working. I think they will release the HD96-16 first, before the Neon. I know the Neon is less processing, but they wanted to sell between the M32 and HD96. Yes. My understanding is a Neon is half of a HD96. The last time I spoke with Chase from Midas, he told me that it's basically half the channel count, half the bus count, basically half the processing, half the amount of effects, half of everything. For what I do, 72 is the HD96 144 input, I believe. So half of that will be 72. 72 channel is more than enough for what I do. Yes, it's 144. So yeah, 72 channel is more than what I need. Usually I don't for a band. I stay under 48. 48 physical input. Forget about the link and the stereo and everything. It's going to be that. And from a good source that I try to holding, Detroit holding back the Neon due to competition now, offering more channel count on their lower console. Make it affordable. If say stuff like the LV1 is offering 96 channel for 10 grand, calculate a full ecosystem with that. And we're just having fun here, by the way. But I would calculate a full ecosystem of the console, the I/O, and everything that you need in between, and try to match that with the Neon. The I/O in Midas are really cheap or affordable. When you think about it, Midas is the only one that I'm aware of that offer physical split patch box, the DL231, and they're not even expensive. Like, you can get a split version of 24 channel stage box for pretty much the same price as 24 by 24 on Digico or Avid. So if you factor in a DL251 at 48 by 16, which probably what most people are after, calculate the price of two DL231, same plus a Neon, same thing with Avid or Digico, and make the console the difference to match, and people are gonna buy it. A DL251 is not a split. A DL231 is 24 split. You can actually split a 251, but you're not in gain. You're in gain sharing mode. The Neon is not a small console like the Compact. I know, but I think if Midas, well, actually they did not release the Neon yet. If Midas have the option, I would redesign the chassis. I know it's expensive, but if you can redesign the chassis to make something like this, where you can keep the 21-inch screen, keep that the same. Put the knob in the bottom if you don't have enough space on the left, on the right. Make a row of knob, make a row of button, plus the fader and mute, and select in the screens, and make the small remote thing, make that the fader, and have maybe the layer on being on top like this instead of having it on the side. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. Make that fit into a chassis like that you can fit barely in a 19-inch rack. It's going to be a game changer, because everybody now tried to fly. The HD Air is a great design for that, but not having fader is a no-go for a lot of people. I could see myself with an Air. I'm the kind of guy that would purchase an Air if it's an option. If the price was a little lower, I can see myself go with the Air, because it's still expensive. But the Neon for now is the one that is talking to me. Neon is going to be, as far as I know, half the price of the HD 96. So I don't know what's the public price USD for that. Is it 2200, 2300? Anybody got the answer to that? What's the map of an HD 96? I love my tour with the H3000, but happy not to carry them around anymore. Oh, dude. I cannot imagine today flipping an HD, or not an HD, Heritage 3000 or 4000 or even a 2000 in a festival situation. You need for a guy just to lift the freaking case. That's never gonna happen anymore. Something like that. Actually, I heard people complaining that the HD 96 is too small. They want, the bigger surface, something like the 338, having two screens and more fader in front of you, and I just don't get it. Hey Rolf, good to see you, man. I think that a Neon with a 21 screen will have a difficult to fit in a 19-inch. I think it does fit. There's not a lot of space, but I think it does fit. Dude, just the Pro X is crazy heavy. Yeah, and the Pro X is not that big. I did see one in real life. Do they make different? Sorry, I'm probably out of topic there. I think the Neon is more to go against the Aventus Solo. I don't know if Midas will come down to replace the M32 or Wing. Just use the Behringer until you need Midas. I heard some stuff about replacing the M32. And yeah, the M32. The M32 is something on its own. I'm going to tell you a story, guys. I had the pleasure to talk with Chase McKnight from Midas last year. And actually, not this year. Year before that, at the tech event in Montreal, Expo scene. And funny enough, we talk about his famous comment on a forum somewhere. So I think it's the Sweetwater forum, where he said with his name, an update will put the M32 up to 96K. And I kind of wish that they would do that, just to shut everybody up and bring the M32 to a more professional standard. It will probably revive the sale of the M32 just a tiny bit, but you know, it's a tricky question, and I think they're gonna probably make a replacement for the M32. Maybe they can make an M48 being a really affordable HD. Like, give me the 48 channel with the same kind of processing that you have in there. Make it 96K so everybody can shut up. And yeah, you're just gonna sell. Actually, it would make sense to have like a 48 channel for AS50 port in the back of a console like that, with a few analog option. Make it something like this. If the neon is is not going to be in that footprint, but make something in that footprint that I can carry around, that give me not a lot of channel, but good quality processing. Give me a quality product that is limited in the amount of I/O available, like a 48 channel by a 48 by 24, something smaller than the Wing. 48 stereo if you really want to push it, but make it up to 24 bus. You know, one main, a couple matrix. One main, 7 matrix, just to piss off people. One main, 7 matrix, and 16 bus. Give me something like that with good processing, with good sonic result. You're going to sell. Eventually, people are going to run out of channel and they will buy the bigger version, I think. They're not aiming to replace the M32 just in the work of a facelift like the M32 got, the X32 got. Yeah, maybe. Talking about M32, do you have an opinion on the X32 V2 range? X32 V2 range, you mean the physical version V2? Because the X32, hold on, is there an X32 V2 that I don't know, that it just came out to replace to compete with the new QU from PreSonus? If so, buy. I just feel like the HD is going against the D Live in all its format. Need to update the M line. Yeah, Midas needs to update that for sure. But to what? Because they already have the HD96. Of course, they can take all the development, all the R&D that they did on those consoles and drop that in a smaller print, but oh, okay, hold on. You guys telling me that there's the X32 V2 with a bigger screen? It's a thing? It's gonna happen? I didn't hear about that at all. I was living under a rock for the last few days. Seriously. Okay, so the HD96 is currently selling for $40,000 US map price. So if you have an account, which you probably do if you want to purchase a console from a distributor, not, you know, you don't, most of the people are not going to buy that off of Sweetwater. But if you were to do it, it would be around $20,000. If you are a dealer, you have basically a B2B deal, which is not the same thing. So, yeah, not the same price as an M32, but definitely an option for those out there. If you have more budget this spring that a Wing compact would cost, maybe a Neon will be for you. Okay. I cannot believe that we've been an hour and a half without me updating the console. Let's figure that out. Let's update our console. We're going to go to 3.1.1. I'm going to go with a compact, and we're going to do update. We'll let that happen. We're going to do a reset. And speaking of reset, there's a couple tweaks that we going to check out according to that. Let's make that happen. Come on, you can do it. Update complete. Please shut down and reboot. We're going to go shut down, confirm, and we're going to press the effect and on here at the top. It's going to wipe our console. And oh, my light stayed on. I don't know what they're doing, but it's going way faster now. There's no load screen anymore. Like, you know, wait to update, blah, blah, blah. Not happening. We are on a Wing Compact Firmware 3.1.1. We just updated that. And just for fun, we got to take a look at what's happening with that firmware. Let's go here. Did I lost my key? Ah, damn it. I've lost my user key. That's the one thing that I don't like about doing these videos. Is every time that I do an update, OBS, it's all OBS fault. I'm losing my custom control key over MIDI. So let's take a look at what's going on here. And I'm going to close the chat for a few seconds because I want to see that PDF on my screen. Hold on. I'm going to be right with you guys. All right, so let's take a look at the stuff that was added first. And I'm going to need this one because I have a show where I'm using a user patch. The first thing that we are checking is, can I click that? Yes. User patch now include gain and phantom power control for assigned sources with an S. So basically what that says is if you, and we're going to create a, I'm going to move. Sorry for the totally non-seamless actions here. We're going to create a user source in channel 1. We're going to go here. We're going to select user signal. And we're going to use a user patch. We're going to make that stereo just for fun. And now that we have tell the channel to use this as a source, we need to put channel in your user patch. So that's going to happen in routing, source, here at the top, user signal. And we're going to apply, we're going to go really crazy. We're going to go here, one with local. It's going to be our local 25, local 2, local 25. And just for fun, we're going to go Dante channel 56. Let's say that this is my stereo source. This is how I want to create that stereo source. Of course, on the Dante side, there is no phantom power because there is no preamp. But on my local in, I do have a preamp and 48 volt. And in a situation like that, I may want to flip the polarity, because sometimes I could have some polarity problem or phasing issue because I'm using two very, very different source. One would be local preamp with almost no latency. The other one would be Dante, so a lot of stuff can happen there. So, okay, let's go back to our channel. If I go here, I do see that I have a polarity flip there. Can I have access to phantom power? No, because one of the channel doesn't have a gain control. This is why I don't have anything here. We gotta modify our source to be something else. We're gonna modify or hold on. Source, this one. I don't want you to be Dante. I want you to be, let's say, something more realistic, local. This one. So gain can be set here at 15. We're going to check this one. Gain here at 48 with polarity and phantom power. Let's take a look at how it looks on the user channel side. I don't know if it's a bug, but apparently it's supposed to have gain and polarity. That's really weird. That's really, really weird. So let me go back to the chat. Maybe you guys have a couple insider perspective here for me. Am I wrong by thinking that this should be working? I believe the update would allow us to actually display that, but I think you would be able to control that channel. And now, because the stream went way longer than I expected, give me a quick second here to do a quick sneezing break. I'll be back in a few seconds. Don't go anywhere, guys. I'm just gonna put you in the pause here, and I'll be back with you in a second. I just need to take a quick break. We've been going. All right, we're back. Okay, so this is not working, so we're gonna go to another key point of the upgrade. I'm gonna look at that later. If it's not working, it's okay, it's not working. Yeah, that's another one that I saw some complaint about on Facebook. Maybe we'll figure that out. Send spill button on the home button page. I'm not sure what that is. You know, it's the spill. Let's see if anybody in the chat can help me out with this one. Let's take a look at the spill option. If I remember, that's in the setup somewhere. It's Hey Nick, good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Actually, it's been 9 weeks since I did a live stream, so definitely a minute. Okay, let me give you guys my screen here. If only I had custom control to do this instead of going by hand. We're going to take a look at the AS50 port later. This is a new option. So let's go send on fader. Send page activate solo, no. Bus send on fader activate. Spill activate sound fader. Okay, what are we looking at here? Is it in the DCA? Is it in the DCA if I do these channel just for fun? And I go DCA. And I need to activate DCA spill, if I remember where that is. Is it in the surface, DCA spill, main spill, and DCA spill? Okay, so if I go main spill here, it's going to show me all my channel. And if I go DCA spill, it's going to give me all my channel here. If I go click on main, it's more for the wing rack, but could be wrong. Actually, I'm not sure. I'm not using a spill user by the, by my day-to-day work. I'm usually just flipping through page, and when I'm using DCA, I'm not using DCA spill. The only time that I was using that was on the Pro Series. I was using Pop Group to do spill, but not something that I'm usually using. Main view is going to be for, is it? I'm not sure about this one, guy. I'm not gonna try to say anything about that, but I know it's been a feature that a lot of people really like, all the spill stuff. I'm not usually a fan, but there were some progress there made, so be aware of that if you are a spill fan. I'm not, and I don't want to spend too much time on that because there's some way more interesting feature on the update here that I would like to go over. So pan control sent on fader. Let's take a look at that. If I can go back here and switch the console. Let's go here on a channel. We're gonna go send on fader. This is probably more for the full size here. Let me go into bus 1. I'm gonna go fader 1. And is the pan here affecting the main? All right. Do we have a pan here affecting the send on fader if I'm doing this? Nope, that's not what I thought it would do. If I'm doing this, it's going to be panning for only that person or that bus. Or actually, is it? Here's been a feature for a while. Pan control on send on fader. Well, another time where I wish they would include a little bit more in the firmware release, because out of context, it's hard to know what is happening here. I understand that when you are a dev creating the feature, you know exactly what you've been working on, but yeah, here maybe is it the pan? No, that was there before. Pan control on send on fader. Maybe it's for the bigger one when you have the encoder knob. Because here I'm changing the pan for the main. If I select that, I'm on send on fader mode, by the way. Like you can see here, send on fader. But there is, let's say I'm doing this. Let's go back here. Did I change that? No, it's still on bus 2. 1 bus 3. No, okay, it's not doing what I expected. So another feature that I will need to clarify for myself. And I will do a video about that in the future for you guys. Pressing Effect plus Meter after shutdown, resume console operation without requiring a reboot. Okay, so what I just did to do the firmware update. Hold on, let me do this here. What I did to do the firmware update when I said shut down. This will mute all audio, blah, 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 when I'm doing this, and I did the firmware update. It's safe to switch off the console now. Old effect and home. Old effect and press home to reboot. Old effect and meter to cancel. So there's a way to cancel if you ever did a shutdown like that. Usually I press effect and home to reboot. Now you can do effect and meter here, and we basically canceled that operation of shutting down. If you do this, go like, oh no, okay. That's a cool feature. We now have that option. Now that Nick is in the channel, in the chat, he's complained about that stuff before. So we're going to go here and we're going to check that next one out. Hold utility after selecting multiple source by clicking across the screen to add or remove sources. We're going to check that out. Let's go back to our console here. Let's go in the routing. And if you press multiple, like I've put my finger down and I just push it like that, you can do some gain on that thing, which is not something that I would suggest, but definitely something that you could do. Can you do, actually hold on, let me have fun here for a second. You can do mute, you can do polarity. Oh, basically they're all selected. Okay, can I do this? But some now on a channel setting. Can I do this? No, you can do some ganging here on the gang operation on the source, but you cannot do that. Let me press and hold here. Hold on, it's not doing what I think it would. You cannot do this. I thought you would be able, kind of like on the Pro Series, you would be able to select a bunch of channel or select a bunch of source and auto assign that, but it's not working. Okay, let's go from the output then. You cannot do this. Maybe you can do some cross patching. Let's say that you want to do AS51. Let's go to your and send that to your Dante, or send that to your USB. Unlock the patch. Can I do this? No, it doesn't allow me to select that. Can I do this now? No, it doesn't. Can I do this and select that? No, it doesn't. All right, let me read that again. What we have here says old utility after selecting multiple source by selecting across the channel to add or remove sources. Hold on. Okay, let's go source here. When I select that, is it just to like remove these one? Okay, so it's an alt. Basically, you can select a bunch of source and just select or deselect or reselect the source one by one. All right, that's gonna be it for now. So cool feature, but I don't see myself using that much. Let's go to another feature that we have. Gain and phantom power. Gain and phantom power control over Stage Connect with the new Stage Connect's preamp box, or box that have preamp. I do not own any of the stage bucks that have this feature. I don't only have the Midas one or the Clark Technic one, which don't allow me to have any of the preamp, because those the one that I have here don't have preamp on them. Maybe I will invest into the black box from Behringer in the future, but for now it's probably not gonna happen, because this one is still sitting here. As soon as I have that rig deployed where I'm gonna have the Clark Technic here, the come on, the TN4816U USB for backing track for a band, and I'm gonna have the Hub 4 Pro here to power up some DL8 across the stage. As soon as I have that rig ready, I'm probably gonna do a video about that, by the way. But for now, this thing is on the back burner. I know exactly where it's gonna go. The project has been delayed. As soon as I have an option for that, it's gonna go in a rack, and I'm gonna deploy my stage box just like that on some small stage. But that's gonna be a project for the future, not for now. But cool to know that they are upgrading, and they are pushing to upgrade that stuff. Let me go back to my PF view here quickly. Change thing that I've changed. User patch now follow the mute and mute priority. Hold on, my phone keep ringing. User patch now follow the mute and mute polarity status of the assigned source in addition to their own mute and polarity settings. So okay, really nice. That's a really cool feature to have. Assigned channel is now selected when touching sound fader in the fader screen. That's going to be more for the rack people. Dry switch labeled to the ultra enhancer and psycho bass effects. So let's take a look at that quickly. Let me bring you guys in. We'll check that psycho bass. Psycho bass is in the standard effect. Psycho bass. Let me assign that to a channel. So we have a dry on or off. Really cool feature. Just having sometimes a clearer name make it easier. And the first one was the ultra enhancer. Where was the ultra enhancer? The ultra enhancer has a wet and a dry, and it's a new switch, right? I don't remember that being the switch. It was something else before. I think maybe I was wrong, but I don't remember seeing that rocker switch in the Wing before. I think it's a new graphic. So thank you very much for doing that, making theory a little clearer. Don't quote me on that. Another thing that was added, Docker hold time increased to 30 seconds. Oh wow, that's really cool. Let's take a look at that. That's one of the features that I'm really excited about, because you can do so much with ducking. Let's take this. Let's go into ducking. I'm still confused with the new layout for the dynamic block. Hold time. Ooh, up to 30,000 milliseconds, so 30 seconds. Wow, that's cool. So you can have, basically, the reason why you want to use a ducker is if you have some ambient music going in the festival and you have a public announce to make, an MC, you can say, once you put the ducker on the channel and you use the key select of your vocal, let's say 24, and you say once input 24 is reaching minus 32 dB, so basically as soon as you open up the mic and talking to it, I want you to drop the level by, let's say, 30 dB with an attack of 120 millisecond, and you're gonna hold it for like 10 seconds. So as soon as you start to talk, it's gonna drop down the volume. Oops. It's gonna drop down the volume and go and shut down the music, so people blah blah blah, thank you very much for being here, always a pleasure. And as soon as those people are done talking, it's gonna take 10 seconds, gonna hold it for 10 seconds, and it's gonna bring back up the music for that. Another way to use a ducker would be if you are an artist playing around with backing track, and you want to have your I'm gonna say it, or is it the other way around? Am I saying that wrong? I think I'm saying that wrong. Actually, no, there's a way to do it. If you wanna fake singing your track live, what you can do is having a ducker on your lead vocal, and that as soon as the track from your playback is gonna play at a certain level, it's going to cut down physically, it's going to bring down the fader physically of your real microphone, so that way you can talk to people in between song. But as soon as the fake lead vocal goes on the tape, it will bring your real microphone down. It's going to cut it for like a few seconds. It's going to be out, and after, let's say, 2 seconds of no vocal, it's going to hold it for like 2 seconds, and after holding it for 2 seconds without being triggered, it's going to bring your real vocal mic up. That's a way to do it. This is not what I usually do, but that's a way to do it. People that fake vocal, this is how they're doing it, because that way, as soon as the track vocal is going, it's going to cut you off. But if in a bridge where there's no vocal on the playback, you want to talk to people, the mic's going to open, you'll be able to talk to them. And as soon as the track are kicking back in, it's gonna go. You can do the same thing for every single instrument. This is how you basically fake your way into a live show. And you can adjust the range. So let's say you just want to cut by 9 dB. Let's say that you're fake singing over it. That's gonna cut, or that's gonna bring down the real vocal, having the backtrack being played, and as soon as the backtrack is off, it's going to bring back your real vocal up. But yeah, this is a couple tricks of the trade to fake performance live, if you guys are into that kind of stuff. So really cool feature. You can do some crazy stuff now with a 30 seconds hold. Not something that I'm usually doing, faking vocal live, but some people do, and the people that want to do it, well, you have at least, not only that, but you have at least a way to do it. What else has changed? Playlist section now, advance to the next item after an automatic stop. Okay, so that's going to be for everybody that's using show control. When you have, actually, do I have a show loaded? I'm going to open up a show. I don't have any clip now, but basically for people that want to do backtrack with the Wing, after an auto stop, it's going to stop and it will go to the next one and go to the next one and go to the next one in your set list order. So if you're doing that kind of stuff, you probably know what that this is going to be a big change for the future. Actually, hold on. I didn't show you guys the change. Here we go. All the change now better displayed for you guys. If no scene is selected, pressing go next. Now always load scene 1. Okay, so that's something to be aware now that you if you ever hit the scene, it's going to load scene 1. Could be a little tricky, but be aware of what you're doing there. Send faders will now use channel fader when all send are set to group mode. Okay. Interesting, but okay. Default setting in the limiter and the mastering plugin changed to off. Okay, this is something that I want to take a look at because I'm using most of the time a limiter on my main channel. I'm gonna select this here. Let's load a limiter. Where is it? Where is it? Precision limiter. Let me bring you guys. Default setting of the limiter in the okay in the master plug. Okay, it's in the master chain. It's not. It's in the mastering chain. It's not on all limiter. So by default now, for the master chain, this limiter is not on. It's off. So okay, it's not what I thought. I thought that when you enable it on a channel, or actually when you enable the precision limiter, not in that mastering chain, it would be off by default. But apparently it's not. This is not how they do it. They just changed that for the mastering change. So another thing that they did, and sorry about that, I'm gonna bring you guys back in. Setup screen layout, update to accommodate future enhancement. Okay. So they did this. Okay. Is it for the AS50 port that they talk about? Is it for this section right there? I don't know. Okay, so maybe they make some room here, so they probably eventually going to do something. One of the complaints that I saw on Facebook is that the letter here in the RJ45 icon for AS50 are too small. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I could not. I'm basically 30 centimeter away from the screen, and I cannot read that by myself. That's because somebody pointed out I can. On the little circle here at the bottom of the notch of the RJ45 connector, there is an icon that says, or a letter that says A, B, and C. I think this is too small. I think you should just have a big letter, say connection A, B, or C next to the icon. It's way too small. Nobody can see it, and I'm really good at seeing small thing. I can read the newspaper from like a meter away, but that's too small. Sorry, Behringer. People are right to complain about that. Okay, so let's go quickly over the fix that they made. Layer name were not updated automatically when changed remotely, so that has been fixed. Holder snapshot containing aux channel dynamic combo plugging were not loading accordingly, so correctly, so that has been changed. CC, hold on, let me do this. CC assignment to DCA mute, DCA fader, and mute group were not loading correctly, so that has been fixed. The tape machine effects in the mastering plugin now use the same setting as the standalone tape machine effect. A lot of people complain about the tape machine effect that they change. And lastly, customization link use incorrect color for gray and white, and that has been fixed. So that's roughly what's happening with firmware 3.1. A bunch of nothing, nothing life-changing, but definitely some cool update here from Behringer. Let me bring back my chat. That's gonna make my ugly mug look differently instead of having the, there we go. All right, so a couple more questions and we gotta call it a day. We've been going for like a long time now. On vacation with the family this week, Nick. Thank you very much for stop by. Charlie, always good to have you around, man. Thank you very much. I have a question in French here. I'm going to answer that in a few seconds. I need you to optimize the room that has a wing full size S32 stage box in a Behringer Wing. Yes, I do offer some consultation if you ever want to fly me over to your place. If you're not local to me, it's going to be a pleasure for me to fly over your place. Of course, in exchange of a salary, a plane ticket, and hotel. But yeah, we can definitely work that out. Do you use Psychobase? I tried to use it a couple times, but it's not been cutting it so far. I've never seen any place where I tried to use it. Can't scroll down. Sorry about that. I really I did my best there. Sorry, Michael. I hope at the end I fixed that issue. How's everyone getting along with this new update? I've been seeing some people reporting issues. Same here, but nothing bad. Nothing bad. I have a wing on version 1.2. Should I look out for what should I look out for when updating to 3.1? Do I need to step through each major version and go straight to 3.1? The first thing I would do is make sure that you have a copy of your snap file. And I don't know if they are gonna load correctly. This is a major gap. You're like 5 years behind. I think when I got my first wing, I got the version 0.06. So you're like, your wing hasn't been updated since 2019. Save your file. So much have changed. I don't see any reason why they would not load correctly, but it's so far out that I don't know what to tell you. So I never had anybody asking me for that, and I honestly, you're gonna probably want to change so much on those files that you probably need to do a sound check with every single file that you're gonna have. Just like take your time, and stuff may not load correctly. The first thing that I would suggest you to do is save your file, do a firmware update to 3.1. I don't think there's any reason not to jump to 3.1. Initialize the console. That's the first thing. Initialize the console, do a reset, reload your file, and hope for the best. Yeah, maybe if you have the option, try to go to V2. Personally, for now, a lot of people reporting issue. Yeah, but people are. It's mostly UI issue, not people complaining. Like the console doesn't crash. I didn't heard about anybody's console crashing, so this is why I'm not holding back. I don't see any reason why to hold back. Maybe you do, and there's nothing wrong, again, staying one version behind. A lot of people doing that. But to me, no reason to hold back. Like the DCA spill stuff, not something that I'm using. So, like, I don't care if it's buggy. Or the tape machine. Some people complain that the tape machine is not as effective as it was before. When I say tape machine, I'm talking about the... hold on, let me switch my camera here. People are complaining that the tape effect here, and we're talking about the one in the mastering change and the one in the standard tape machine, is not as impactful as it was before. And this is true, but this is closer now that the effect that we have is closer to what they had in mind when they implement that. So I don't know. I'm not using saturation effect at all. I'm not using the tape machine. Live, it makes no sense for me to like dirty up the sound that much, or I have no band that required me to dirty up the sound that much, so this is why I'm not using it. But if it's a thing for you, if you're having a hard time with the tape machine, the newer one, it's not as overdriven, you're not cranking, or you're cranking everything up and you're not happy with the result, sorry, but that's the new tape machine, and that's a major complaint that I saw on Facebook about the latest update. But I think it's even from 3.1, not 3.1.1. So I don't know about that. And I think that's going to conclude our live stream today. I know it's been a while since I've did one of these, but we've been going at this for a long time. But I appreciate it. It's been a long time since I saw you guys, and kind of missed you. I kind of missed doing this. This is the first time that I'm taking a break. I took a 9-week break, and it's the first time that I'm doing that in 6 years of doing this channel. I've been going at it mostly every single Monday for 6 years. This is why we have 246 episode. So thank you very much for being part of this live stream. I'm gonna answer a question in French here from Studio 11 Live. Salut Guillaume, comment ça va? Hope you're having a good time. Oh no, it's not in French. Sorry, I thought it was in French because I read Salut Guillaume. Hope you're having a good summer. I'm looking forward to having you visit our silent stage, the Husher Room in Park X. Let me know if you have any time before the end of the summer. Actually, yeah, definitely can do a vlog about that. I'm probably gonna have some time. I'm mostly off now before I leave on vacation, but I have a couple days off here and there. So yeah, sure, let me know. I can bring a camera home. We can have a good time. If you have a wing, especially, it's going to interest a lot of people here, but it's going to be a pleasure for me to visit over, especially if you're in Park X and you're like 30 minutes away from my place. I'm on the South Shore. Older version of tape machine was too aggressive. So yeah, they changed that. People complain about that. The Hush Room. Okay, well, we'll see the Hush Room. Thank you, Patrick. Rob, thank you. We miss you. Just having finished a fabulous meal at Patrick. I hope one day I can visit over. I can come over and have a meal with Patrick. Actually, Rob, I owe you a couple beer. Like maybe, I don't know, 30, 35. Maybe not in one night. And Patrick, I cannot thank you enough for everything that you did on this channel. Merci énormément. Merci beaucoup. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I hope you guys having a great time. Thank you very much for joining us today. We had a lot of people asking some really great questions. Actually, we went on for like 2 hours asking question, talking, answering stuff. You guys give me your opinion about stuff, and I love that so much. Thank you for watching. I hope you're going to be there next week, because I know I will. Well, actually, I plan to be. We never know what's going to happen, but I plan to be there. So guys, until the next one, until next Monday, I want you guys to please take care of yourself. Be careful when you're doing your firmware update. And I see you all next week.